Why has the US government suddenly decided to reveal so much about UFOs? I mean, for decades, the government kept a really tight lid on everything to do with UFOs, claiming national security. But now the military and politicians are talking openly about such things. Why the change? Congress just held their very first public hearing about UFOs in 50 years. So again, the question is why? When politicians in Washington act, they usually do so because they have an agenda. What could that be? Well, it appears likely they're preparing us for something big, a huge revelation. I expect them to say that UFOs and aliens are real. And this channel happens to believe they could be real as well. We just don't think that they're beings from another planet. Rather, we believe they are demonic spirit beings or fallen angels. But either way, it appears to me they're beholding to Satan, and thus something is up. Here is a CNN report on the hearing. Quote, key lawmakers warned at a House hearing on Tuesday that unidentified aerial phenomena, probably known as UFOs, must be investigated and taken seriously as a potential threat to national security. The event marked the first congressional public hearing on UFOs in decades, a high-profile moment for a controversial topic that has long been relegated to the fringes of public policy. The CNN report continued that there have been 400 unexplained sightings. That number is very different from the number that we were given just a year ago in 2021. At that time, the Pentagon told us there were just 144 unexplained sightings. Where'd we get like the extra 250? But now we're being told that the real number is nearly triple the original number. And on Tuesday, they also confessed that there have been 11 near misses with unidentified objects and U.S. military aircraft, and they are probing incidents where craft may have attempted to jam U.S. planes. Don't you find that unusual? That 11 aircraft of the USA were almost hit by other aircraft that we simply can't identify. And they were even like jammed, like even it being an intentional act. And the American population weren't told about it. Now, if these were Russian or Chinese planes almost hitting our aircraft, we'd know within the hour. And there'd be all kind of national security issues. But on this, a UFO almost hitting our planes, there's nothing. Of course, there is so much more that the Pentagon is choosing not to tell us. According to Politico, one Defense Department official has freely admitted that there's a great deal that is not being publicly revealed. Quote, without forcing people's hands, it's going to be very difficult to uncover legacy ventures and programs that we don't know about based on oral interviews we've dug up, end of quote. That same official went on to explain that people are refusing to come forward and they're protecting what he called very interesting information. What is that interesting information? According to one member of Congress, U.S. Congressman Tim Burkett from Tennessee, our military has actually recovered physical wreckage from a UFO that crashed. He told the Online Sun that he's been informed by reliable sources that, quote, material has been recovered from objects or crafts that have been reported in skies over the U.S. The Tennessee Republican declined to elaborate further as he said the information had been passed to him in a classified setting. I've been told by multiple sources that we have recovered something from these crafts or objects. These unidentified aircraft are very real, and every year they are spotted thousands and thousands of times all over the globe. Now this subject is being brought out into the spotlight, and that should make us all a little nervous. The questions are why? Why is the U.S. government in particular bringing this to the forefront when UFO sightings go back over 70 years? Is the government more honest than they've been before? Hardly. If anything, the opposite is true. So, as this channel sees it, there are two possible nefarious purposes to this very recent explosion of information. One is that the government is providing cover for fallen angels when they are cast out of heaven by Michael the archangel. The second possibility is that these fallen angels plan to impact the political takeover that is what we know as the Great Reset. The casting down of Satan and his fallen angels found in Revelation chapter 12 takes place at the midpoint of the 70th week of Daniel, or what some call the tribulation. If this is a way to provide cover and a false identity for these fallen angels, that tells us then that we would be very close to that event, which will mark the beginning of the Great Tribulation. It is also possible, it's the second option, that these fallen angels will appear and speak to the world in order to support the political takeover of the world governments by the world elite and the United Nations. This is the Great Reset that the World Economic Forum has been planning for a decade. Imagine that the world economy crashes, wars proliferate, both brought on, of course, by the elites, and into that chaos a UFO appears, and a creature advises the people of the world what to do. And amazingly, that advice is to listen to the elite and Klaus Schwab, to surrender all national authority to these folks, to surrender all weapons of self-defense, and surrender all personal assets. The reason being that this creature would say, it's the only way to save the planet. What more convincing endorsement could the elite get than from a supposed creature of higher intellect? That's what this would look like to those watching the media. But behind the scenes, this would be a fallen angel who, in combination with Satan, had planned the Great Reset themselves and is only supporting the humans carrying out the satanic plan. So, believers need to be aware of these possibilities if we see more revelations of UFOs and the government involvement in the near future. If you'd like to learn more about how UFOs are likely of satanic origin, click right here to keep watching and discover how a satanic alien revelation might lead to the loss of faith by vast portions of the population. Till then, this is Nelson, and I'll see you there.